Hello, my literary lovelies, and welcome. Today, we're off on a grand adventure, a right proper Irish knees up, as we follow in the footsteps of one of the Emerald Isle's most treasured wordsmiths, the one and only W.B. Yeats. Now, I'm not talking about some dusty old tour through musty libraries, oh no. We're talking about experiencing the very places that set his poetic soul alight. From his birthplace to his final resting place, we'll be hopping across the countryside, soaking up the atmosphere, and maybe even penning a sonnet or two of our own, eh? Who knows what inspiration we might find. So buckle up, grab your well-thumbed copy of Yeats's finest, and get ready for a literary pilgrimage that's sure to be more enchanting than a leprechaun's pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Our journey begins naturally at the very beginning. 5 Sandymount Avenue in Dublin, the birthplace of the great W.B. Yeats. Now you can't actually get inside, it's not open to the public, can't be snooping about where the great man himself once crawled about as a wee lad, but never you mind. The real joy is in wandering the streets of Sandymount. Imagine young Yeats, perhaps a twinkle in his eye, dreaming up his first rhymes. And who knows, maybe you'll feel a spark of that same creative energy. And wouldn't it be something to sip a pint in a pub where Yeats himself might have once spun a yarn or two? Ah, the stories those walls could tell. So take a stroll, breathe in that sea air, and let the magic of Sandymount work its wonders on your soul. Next, we're off to Sligo, a place Yeats considered his spiritual home. And right in the heart of it all is the Yeats Memorial Building. Think of it as a love letter to the man himself. Inside, you'll find exhibitions, lectures, all sorts of things celebrating his life and work. You can practically feel the words swirling around you, and if you're lucky, you might even catch a dramatic reading. Now wouldn't that be something? To hear Yeats's words brought to life in such a fitting setting. So soak it all in, learn a thing or two, and let the spirit of Yeats be your guide. Hold on to your hats, folks, because our next stop is straight out of a storybook. Thoor Ballylee, a 16th century Norman tower that Yeats himself bought and restored. Can you imagine? This, my friends, was his sanctuary, his escape from the hustle and bustle of life, and it's not hard to see why. Surrounded by the Irish countryside, it's the kind of place that simply begs for poetry to be written. Now this isn't just any old tower, mind you. This is where Yeats wrote some of his most famous works. The walls practically echo with his words. So climb those ancient steps, explore its nooks and crannies, and let your imagination soar. Our journey takes us now to a place of quiet reflection, Drumcliff Churchyard. It's here, beneath the watchful gaze of Ben Bulben, that Yeats chose his final resting place. And as you stand before his simple gravestone, inscribed with lines from his poem Under Ben Bulben, you can't help but feel a sense of peace. It's as if his words are reaching out, connecting us to something larger than ourselves. Take a moment, read those words etched in stone, and let them wash over you. They're a reminder that even in death, a poet's voice can still resonate, still inspire. And as the sun sets over the Irish countryside, casting long shadows across the churchyard, you'll feel a profound sense of gratitude for the legacy Yeats left behind. Right then, back to Dublin we go, and this time we're off to a treasure trove for any bookworm, the National Library of Ireland. Now this place is chock full of literary goodies, but their Yeats exhibition? Oh, it's something special. Manuscripts, photographs, even some of his personal belongings. Imagine gazing upon the very pages where Yeats penned his masterpieces. It's enough to give any literature lover goosebumps. So, put on your best I'm a serious scholar face, grab a notebook, and prepare to be dazzled by the sheer brilliance of Yeats's work. Next, we're off to Coole Park, home of Lady Gregory, Yeats's dear friend and collaborator. Now this isn't just a house, it's a literary haven. Imagine the conversations, the debates, the sheer creative energy that must have crackled in the air. Be sure to seek out the autograph tree. Yes, you heard that right. A tree carved with the initials of literary giants, including Yeats himself. It's like stepping into a who's who of the Irish literary renaissance. Wander the gardens, lose yourself in the estate's history, and imagine Yeats and Lady Gregory, heads together, plotting their next literary masterpiece. Get ready for a bit of drama, darlings, because our next stop is the Abbey Theatre, co-founded by none other than W.B. Yeats himself. Talk about a legacy. This, my friends, is where Irish theatre found its voice. And to this day, it continues to showcase the very best of Irish talent. You never know, you might even catch a performance of one of Yeats' plays. So grab a program, find your seat, and let the magic of the Abbey Theatre transport you to another world. Our next stop takes us to Lissadell House, a grand old estate that captured Yeats's imagination. He was close friends with the family who lived here, and let me tell you, their story is one for the ages. You see, Lissadell wasn't just a house, it was a symbol of a changing Ireland. And Yeats, ever the observer, poured his thoughts and feelings about the place into his poetry. So stroll through those grand halls, imagine the whispers of history echoing around you, and let the spirit of Lissadell work its magic on you. Right then, time to trade our comfy shoes for hiking boots because we're off to conquer Ben Bulben. Now this isn't just any old mountain. This majestic peak loomed large in Yeats's imagination, becoming a recurring symbol in his poetry. And as you stand on its slopes, gazing out at the breathtaking views, you'll understand why. It's the kind of place that makes you want to burst into verse. So, take a deep breath of that fresh Irish air, feel the wind in your hair, and let the wild beauty of Ben Bulben inspire your own inner poet. Next we're popping into the Yeats Society Sligo, a group dedicated to keeping the spirit of Yeats alive and kicking. And let me tell you, they do a grand job of it. They've got lectures, exhibitions, even a yearly Yeats summer school. Imagine spending your summer days immersed in all things Yeats. So, if you're a true blue Yeats enthusiast, this is the place to be. You can mingle with fellow fans, learn from the experts, and maybe even discover a new way to appreciate the great man's work. Our literary adventure takes us now to the charming village of Kilmacanoga. It was here that Yeats sought refuge in a cozy cottage, escaping the city for the peace and quiet of the countryside. And as you wander through the rolling hills and lush greenery, you can practically feel his creativity blossoming. Who knows, you might even be inspired to pick up a pen and paper yourself. So, take a leisurely stroll, breathe in that fresh country air, and let the tranquility of Kilmacanoga wash over you. Pack your bags, poetry enthusiasts, because we're off to Dromahair, the gateway to the legendary Lake Isle of Innisfree. Now this, my friends, is the stuff of literary legend. Yeats immortalized this tranquil haven in his iconic poem, and as you step onto its shores you'll understand why. It's as if time stands still here, lost in a world of natural beauty. Close your eyes, listen to the gentle lapping of the water, and let Yeats's words transport you to a place of pure serenity. Back to Dublin we go, this time to Merrion Square, where a statue of the great man himself stands proudly. Now there's something rather grand about seeing a literary giant immortalized in bronze, don't you think? Take a moment to appreciate the craftsmanship, the way the sculptor captured Yeats's thoughtful gaze. It's as if he's looking out at the world, still pondering life's big questions. And as you stroll through the park, you can't help but feel a sense of pride in knowing that Yeats's legacy continues to inspire generations of readers and writers alike. Now, for a bit of history and grandeur, we're off to Rathfarnham Castle. This magnificent fortress wasn't just a pretty facade, oh no, it was a hub for the leading lights of Irish society, including our very own W.B. Yeats. Imagine him, strolling through those grand halls, rubbing shoulders with the movers and shakers of his day. The gossip, the intrigue, the sheer intellectual energy must have been palpable. So let your imagination run wild as you explore this historic gem, picturing Yeats deep in conversation, perhaps even jotting down a line or two of poetry inspired by the castle's rich history. And for our final stop, we're taking a leisurely stroll along Sligo's Riverside Promenade. Now this isn't just any old walk in the park. Oh no, this path is practically paved with poetry. You see, dotted along the route are sculptures and plaques commemorating Yeats and his work. It's like a treasure hunt for literature lovers. So take your time, enjoy the scenery, and let the words of Yeats wash over you one last time as we bid farewell to the Emerald Isle. And there you have it, my literary adventurers, a whirlwind tour through the life and times of the great W.B. Yeats. We've laughed, we've cried, we've climbed a mountain or two, and hopefully we've come away with a deeper appreciation for the man and his work. But the journey doesn't have to end here. Why not plan your own Yeats-inspired adventure? Who knows what literary treasures you might uncover? Until then, keep those pages turning and remember, as Yeats himself once said, the world is full of magic things, patiently waiting for our senses to grow sharper.